Glorious day to you, my friends. Yikatar anahaski itoro. Welcome to day number 130 of being, this blissful existence illuminating and nurturing grace. This grace of our true nature, our real self. We're doing this for 144 days. We're on day number 130. So after today, there are only 14 days left, 2 weeks. The imagery they gave me at the beginning is we're spiraling up the Great Pyramid of the self to the edge of the matrix, this matrix. We're going to poke our head through the hub of the dharma chakra, and we're going to use the Eye of Providence to gain a divine perspective on this reality. Siya natati hata arahu toro shahatora. And since we're spiraling up, we're using the golden spiral, and it's closely associated with the Fibonacci sequence, where for the first 55-day segment of Fibonacci number, we were subtly dealing with Vasundhara, the Earth Star chakra, our root system, and we were subtly dealing with the Annamaya Kosha, the food, this physicality, this overcoat of physicality. And the invitation from that 55-day class was to place more of our roots into our heart center for the true nourishment of our being. The next 34-day segment, another Fibonacci number, we were subtly dealing with Muladhara, our root chakra, our root support. And we started utilizing the Pranamaya Kosha, this layer of ourselves, this energetic layer of ourselves, where that utilizes the prana, both the breath and this universal life force energy, through our meridians, through our channels that our body utilizes to nourish both our being and this physical body. The invitation from that 21-day segment was to place more of our foundation in our heart home, in our Brahma Vihara, Nyataharasko Utoro, this loving abode of self, of God, our true home. Whenever I or we or they use terms of true self, inner being, it's the real you. It's the real me. It's the real everybody. Not this who we think we are. And who we've built up in our mind of who we are and who we need to become. So, to place more of our foundation in our heart, in our heart home, in the real self, in the real you. To give a firm foundation of the real you. And then in the next 21-day segment, we spent 21 days subtly dealing with Svadhisthana, the sacral chakra, where the self is established. And the invitation, and we're still dealing or still utilizing the Pranamaya Kosha, this energetic body, utilizing the breath and the energy to help us aparigraha, there we go, unclasp this sense of self that many attach with the ego, that I am me and everybody else is them, this sense of self. And we're practicing, being still, asana. We're practicing pranayama, this breath of moving and utilizing prana, both the breath and the energy, and pratyahara, this, at the beginning we understand it as the withdrawal of the senses. But it's this ultimate respect It's this respect of allowing ourselves, this body and this mind, to rest in its own true nature, in the true self, as the true self, in our true nature, as our true nature. But along with that comes this ultimate respect of allowing these senses, the five senses, and even the sixth sense, to rest in their own true nature. That in and of itself, at the beginning, we see that I'm not feeling my body anymore. I'm not paying attention to those sensations, the active mind. I'm not paying attention to. We're paying attention to the pain that we might be causing, but the discomfort is a way to focus. And it helps to teach us how to still maintain our integrity during those frustrating times. Pratyahara becomes this. I'm respecting everything on its own journey, doing its own thing, allowing it to rest in its own true nature simply by me, us, resting in our own true nature, allowing ourselves to be and allowing them to be. And this 21-day segment matched exactly with the 21-day journey of the tarot, of the major arcana, the 21-day journey of the Fool, on the Fool's journey, as we met each of those 21 archetypes and integrated them. We learned from them, and we integrated those lessons, releasing our sense of self, our sense of who we think we are, and allowing ourselves to become the real us. And interestingly, I didn't plan it this way. They did, or this did. On day number 108, we were on day number 19 of Swadhisthana, or Svadhisthana, our sacral chakra, on the 21-day journey of the Fool's journey. In tarot, in the major arcana, number 19 is the sun, which represents the self, the true self. And we've completed day number 19 of Svadhisthana on day number 108 of the series. When chanting, we break up. We chant for 108 times in the Mala. And we use the Mala for count. We use the Mala for many things. But it's a symbolic journey into the self, into our true self, in our true nature, by quieting the mind, quieting the body, slowly withdrawing the senses, and respecting ourself, our peace, our being, and respecting everybody else's. But we're doing this series for 144 days. Why? Well, the first reason they gave me was because 12 times 12. Because 12 times 9, 108, isn't going to complete the ideas that we want to talk about. I'll say, oh, okay. All right, I'll let you talk. And interestingly, on day number 20 and 21 of Svadhisthana, represent the last two cards of the major arcana, Judgment, number 20, and the World on 21. And 20 simply realizes it's the same thing that we do every day, that we're on our journey, that it's the Judgment card. And it's not this judgment that we have up here of right and wrong. It's the benevolent judgment that's a part of who we are, a part of this experience that we chose to incarnate on planet Earth in this perfect balance of contrast. And the invitation from Judgment is for us, with our divine perspective now, to reevaluate how we do things, how we think, how we act, how we speak, how we think. Gently, easily, by listening to our heart, by listening to the teachings of yoga, by listening to the respect, by listening to and the world is, with this newfound wisdom, with this new allowing our true self to be, accepting ourselves as complete and whole, and accepting others as complete and whole. Are we ready to dive into this world again with this new perspective? That's what the world card is all about. And then the next 13-day segment, another Fibonacci number. And to me, 13 is the center of the grid. We got 12, it's at the center of the clock, 12 hours of the day. And it's this mechanism in the center of our heart. Anahata has 12 petals. 13 is the center of Anahata, is the center of who we really are. And that 13-day segment, while still utilizing the Pranamaya Kosha, this 13-day segment of Manipura, our solar plexus chakra, our jeweled city, it's our sun chakra. Well, we've become our true self on day number 19 of Swadhisthana, and we already are ourselves. There's no courses to take. There's nothing to do. You already are you. But this 13-day segment, the invitation of Manipura, is to let our true self, our true integral self, our inner being, God, whomever you want to call it, to drive, relinquish control of life manifestation. That doesn't mean we can't have goals. It doesn't mean we can't have a plan. It just means that our inner being is really doing all the work anyway. And once we realize that our inner being is driving this truck, that spirit is driving, we hand over the reins of our chariot, and our true self, the real you, is driving. This being full of love, full of kindness, full of compassion, full of joy, and full of harmony. The four walls of your Brahma Vihara, Iskana Asuhu Tatehara, Nata Aryata Atara, is doing this creation. It's the major vibration in our lives. It's doing all the manifesting. Our thoughts are simply little bumps and blips on this major vibration of who we really are. So why not acknowledge that and hand over the reins? We're spending an extra 36 days after 108 of realizing ourselves, doing this dance of joy, doing the dance of ease and joy and satisfaction in our lotus of awareness, being our true self, being our true nature. That's it. Accepting ourselves as whole and complete. Being ourselves as whole and complete. During this 8-day segment, we're on day number 7. There's only today and tomorrow left of the heart home. We can call it Anahata. Well, it has 12 petals. We can call it Hrit, Hridaya. Some call Hrit the higher heart chakra. Some call it the lower heart chakra. Guess what? Let's just call it heart home, because I think we understand that it's our heart mind. And it's the home of our true self, the real you. And in here, in the core of who we are, is one way to say it. And we've mapped the 8 petals of Hrit, or the 8 days here, to Samavriti Pranayama, box breath, where each of these days represents one of the phases of box breath. On day number 1, down here, now that I'm over here and the camera's up a little higher. So, day 1, we decided We decided to become awake. We've decided to become aware. This is the start of the day. This is before sunrise. We decided to wake up. And when we were the Supreme Consciousness, when we were Om, we decided to become aware. We decided to be aware, and we decided to incarnate into human form. It's the beginning of life. Samavriti pranayama models every cycle, every vritti. Cycles of the moon, the cycles of the year. And this 8-day segment, we're modeling after the wheel of the year, where day number 8 tomorrow is winter, is rest. It's holding our breath for samavriti. It's holding our breath. We breathe in for a count of 4, 5, 6, but for here, 3, because this mala of joy, we break up the 108 seeds into 9 groups of 12, where each of the 9 groups represents one of the chakras in our Merkaba, okay? And besides the 7, there's the Vasundhara, the Earth Star Chakra, and Vyapini, the Soul Star Chakra, at the top of our Merkaba, the top of our auric field. It's the opening in our Taurus, and Vasundhara at the bottom is the opening in our Taurus field at the bottom, where the energy goes out and flows around and into the North Pole, our crown chakra. And as we samavriti, we breathe in, we then hold our breath for a count. We're doing the 3 seeds, and then, because we're breaking up each of the chakras, the 12 seeds, into 4 groups of 3, where we're doing 3, count of 3 on the in-breath, count of 3 for holding our breath with a full set of air in the lungs, and then count of 3 for breathing out, and then a count of 3 for holding our breath with an empty set of lungs, which is resting in our true nature, which is just being. And this phase down here, day number 8, is winter or rest. Day number 2 is sunrise or springtime, the spring equinox, or it's, we woke up for the day, or it's our birth, if it's the wheel of life. Down here, it's our decision. The 4 corners are our decisions, our time to take action. The center points of samavriti are just the continuance, dharana. It's the holding of what we're doing. We're setting ourselves up for success in the morning for what we're going to do during the day. This is Om Mani Padme Hum. We've decided to incarnate. We've decided to wake up and make our day great. Sunrise, okay? Or our birth, or we're breathing in. That's it. We're breathing in. This is a simple approach. We've decided to do work. We've decided to stop breathing and to hold our breath. That's it. And then we just hold our breath. It's the simple way to look at it. But this is the mani phase. This is where, in our spiritual engine, this is what's doing the compression of our mani, of our jewel. It's polishing our jewel. We are polishing our jewel with each breath, with the prana, with the om, with consciousness. And we've made a decision. See, this is the best part down here, because day number 7 is about letting go, deciding to rest. But that's too complicated. It's part of this human aspect. It is so difficult to let go of things. And even if we look at it as the simple approach, it's just time to go to bed. I need to go rest. But what happens sometimes when our mind is active but it's time to go to sleep? We don't have a restful state. When we feel this need to breathe, when it's time to not breathe. when we're dead and we still think we're alive. Or when we're alive and we think we're dead. Anyway, up here on 1, 3, 5, on day 5, we decided to ignite. We decided to shine, which is simply, I decided to let the air out of my lungs. I decided to let myself be me. It's the easiest way. That's the let go phase. The decision down here, it's already been made. You don't have to decide on how to let go. We can overcomplicate it because so many times we understand that something's bothering us and we don't know what it is. Sometimes we go to talk to a friend and we feel better. Sometimes we go to an energy worker and energy gets cleared. And we have a conversation after the session and maybe we understand more. We, our inner being, our true self, is going to reveal to us what it is when we're ready. And our inner being isn't going to give us too much, even though we think it's too much. At times as a human. We've already decided to let go. We're breathing out. This is the Shavasana phase. This is a rest. This is completing. This is the completion phase. As an athlete, we work out. We warm up, and then we work out, and then this rest and recovery phase is just as important as all this exercise. The food that we put in our body is just as important as the exercise, and just as important as the rest, which is our breath is just as important as the work that we do, which is why pranayama and breathing, effective breathing while running, while cycling, while swimming, learning how to control the breath, and learning how to control the mind and the self is what we did in the first 108 days. We're in this Manomaya kosha, and then a heart home. So we're understanding that our mind at this point has created everything. Our mind has created all of our chakras. Our mind has created this experience of contrast. Our mind has created this experience of something that needs to be let go so we can fully experience this thing called rest. So we can fully and truly experience this thing called rest. This mind, this Manomaya, it was one of the layers one of these pieces of clothing that we put on from our state as Supreme Consciousness in the bliss. And this Manomaya kosha, this mind. But the simple approach, because we're talking about the KISS method, this whole series, keeping it spiritually simple. This is simply a decision to breathe. But it's profound as to what this in-breath is. And our decision to stop the in-breath, to allow our inner being to do this mani work there when we hold our breath. And our decision just to breathe out is sufficient, is the simple approach, to just be me. And the shine phase is just you, your natural self. This one here, waking up or sunrise, is your natural state as well. Each of these 4 cardinal points are you being your true self. There's nothing. You can't shine any more than you already are shining. You can just think that you're not shining. That's it. That's it. And you can think that everybody else is not shining. But that's this thing. That's not this thing. This thing sees the shine in everybody, including ourselves. It sees the integrity here. So this let go phase, it's time to rest. That's it. We've already done it here. This is just the continuance of the out-breath. It's just air's not involved. It's all air. Prana's involved, but air isn't. And you're shining, and then you're just being. That's it. That's what rest is. Being. Resting in our own true nature. Just being ourselves. Letting go. We're overthinking this letting go thing. That's what aparigraha is all about, this unclasping. If you're carrying this heavy luggage, the burdens of our life as a human, but we're carrying it around everywhere, whether we see it as balls and chains, or we see it as luggage that we're carrying around, or sacks of rocks, or it doesn't matter. We hold on to it tightly because somewhere in here we're feeling value from this experience, that we feel the need to carry it around, basically. That's all these imprints in our chakras, in our energetic field. They're just imprints of experience that somehow we did not feel complete with that experience. Our inner being sees it as complete, sees it as kriya, that we're complete. It sees it as a complete action. But our mind still wants to derive value from that. That's all. That's it. But that's what pratyahara is about, is to see it as, yes, it's sticking around because it wants to stick around, because my inner being is so awesome. It's sticking around. So if I just pratyahara with me, then maybe it'll pratyahara with itself. I'm going to rest in my true nature. It's going to rest in its true nature. We'll worry about what happens later. We're in the, okay, it's time to rest. That's it. Without overthinking it. Let's just rest in our true nature. So I invite you to relax. Whether you sit, whether you lie down, or whether you sit in seated meditation, it does not matter. Comfort and ease allows us to settle in. As we focus our awareness on our breath, as we begin to slowly lengthen and deepen our breath, as we listen to the sound of our breath as we breathe in, as we listen to the sound of our breath as we breathe out. As we feel how it feels to breathe in. And we feel how it feels to breathe out. Breathing and relaxing. And breathing out ease. Breathing in comfort. And breathing out joy. Breathing in prana. And breathing out satisfaction. Breathing in prana. And simply shining out our light. Now let us focus our awareness on our heart center. For in our heart center, in our heart home, is our holy fire, is the home of our Holy Spirit, is the home of our Brahma Vihara, is the home of the real you. the home of the self. And home of our true nature. And all of these are just other names for you, for the real you. And all of these are the source of our bright light. And every breath that we take with intention fans the flames of our holy fire and brightens our already bright light. As we switch to Sama Vritti Pranayama, breathing in for a count of 3. Holding our breath for a count of 3. Breathing out for a count of 3. And holding our breath with no air for a count of 3. Breathing in the prana. Sitting with the prana in our heart. Breathing out the prana. And then resting as our true self. Breathing in the Om. Sitting with the Om in our heart. Breathing out the Om. And simply sitting in our true nature. Switching to the chants. Breathing in the Om. Allowing the Om to polish our mani, our jewel. Allowing the Om to unfold our Padme, which is simply breathing out and shining our light. And resting in our own true nature in the emptiness. Breathing in the Om. Sitting with the Ah in our heart. Breathing out the Hum as we really are, true self. And sitting in the emptiness. Breathing in the Om with the Sa. Sitting with the Om in the Ah of the heart. Breathing out the Hum, which is breathing out who we really are. And sitting in the emptiness, in the peace. Breathing in the Soham. Sitting with the Soham. Breathing out the Hamsa. And sitting in the emptiness with grace. And let us start the divine flow, if you have not done so already. Let us take this Hamsa of who we really are, this grace of our inner being, this swan, the essence of our soul. And let us take this Hamsa and reach up into the Soham through all these ideas of separation. And into the highest form of consciousness. Into the One. Into the Sun. Into the Self. Where there is no ego. Where there is no individual. Where there is only total acceptance, which is unconditional love. Where it always respects free will, which is simply pratyahara. It respects this free will to think that you're separate, for you to think any way that you wish, to speak any way that you wish, and to act any way that you wish. This highest source of consciousness is always with you. It is your true self. And let us bring this Soham back down through all the realms of separation and unify it back in the heart center. Unifying the Soham and the Hamsa, unifying the One with the Zero, unifying the Sun and the Moon, unifying the Self, the true Self, and the sense of self, or how we see ourselves, the Moon, the reflection. And taking this unified energy, this unified consciousness, this Kaivalya, and bringing it down into the manifested realm, down into the heart of Gaia, into the earth, into the eight, into everything that has been created, into the Bur, and bringing back all of this creation, all of the eight, and bringing it back into the heart center, unifying the Soham, the Hamsa, and all of creation, unifying the Bur, the Bhuva, the meaning of it, and the Svaha, the self, unifying the One, the Zero, and the Eight, unifying the Sun, the Moon, and the Earth, unifying everything in consciousness, in one thought, in Aum. And the divine flow is simply recognizing this pattern of separation and unity on purpose. Kaskanihitaria, allowing our inner being, allowing our Hamsa to drive this divine flow. Niaracha aihika tahartana era, shosho una ara ataheta, shaya a tahana arekaha, choyo oka arhana ekatata. And now on the out-breath, with intention, let us push this unified consciousness out into every aspect of our awareness. Jakarya arnahasaya atakahata anaharataha. In every way, and everywhere, and everyone, siotora arnahasa era atakaya. As we begin to chant, starting out with Aum, which is simply Om, the primordial sound of the universe, which created all these ideas of separation, which created all these ideas of experience, which is simply Om stretched into its 3 sound components. Ah for the heart, Ooh for the root, and for the savoring, for the embodying, for the satisfaction of it all. And then chanting, hum, so hum, 108 times, using the Mala of Joy, chanting with ease and joy and satisfaction. And then transitioning with Ayeng, which is simply aim, the Bij mantra of abundance, realizing that everything that we create is this Om, is this light, is consciousness. Simply aim, stretched into its 3 sound components. Ah for the heart, E for the crown, and Ing for resonation with everything and satisfaction with everything. It's simply a way of having resonation in the upper chakras, in the head. That is it. A breath in for Aum. And a breath in to chant. Hum, so hum, 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 so hum, 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 hum, so hum. A breath in for Aum, for Aying. When you are ready, let us spend some time as our true self, as the real us, in our lotus of awareness, in our true nature, utilizing the wisdom of the chants. Om Mani Padme Hum. We are this jewel of the lotus. Om Ma Hum. We are this, and there is wisdom in the emptiness. Om So Hum. I am the ultimate consciousness. I am Om. I am that which I observe. I am all that is. Hum So Hum. I am the Supreme Consciousness. I am that I am. I am enough. I am complete. With this wisdom, thus realizing there is nothing to know, there is nothing to see, So let's spend time in the emptiness, allowing awareness to be. When you are ready, let us thank ourselves for spending time as the real us in our true nature. As we resume conscious breath and as we resume the chant, transitioning with Aying, and then chanting hum so hum 36 times using the Ananda chakra, this wheel of bliss, this dance of bliss that our inner being always does. This dance of ease and joy and satisfaction, where every action and every thought is complete, is kriya, just as you are always complete and whole. You are Kriya. 36 times. Hum, so hum. And then concluding with Aum. A breath in for Aying. Aying. A breath in to chant. Hum, so hum. 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 Last one. Hum, so hum. A breath in for Aum. Aum. When you are ready, Slowly bring awareness back to the here and now. Maybe invite in some gentle movements. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you are ready, slowly open your eyes and welcome in the new now. Huturu una hatata arhana ishaya ak hatariata atarehana akutoro. Congratulations, my friends. We have completed day number 130 of being, this blissful existence, illuminating and nurturing grace. Niarashana akatoroto. This is the one moment. Somehow, it got unplugged. Atura anahakate tiariaranahatarihi. Technology hurata ataria kashana okuara hatara. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go is a part of every breath. Letting go is a part of every yoga class. Letting go is a part of every day. It's a decision to let go. But let's let our inner being make those decisions. We can do them intentionally. We can set ourselves up for success. We can make a plan for the day, as long as we're flexible with it. The decision time. And the decision to actually do work and exercise. As an athlete, we use resistance. We use stress. We use contrast. We're not in total relaxation. We use it on purpose to build our muscles, to stress our muscles. And then we have a relaxation. We have a recovery phase. We have to fuel our bodies and we have to let it rest and recover. This decision to exhale and just to shine and just to be you, that's it. And this one is a decision to let it go, to see the day as complete. And maybe we practice by maybe journaling about the day. Maybe we practice by writing down what was successful about today, what was not so successful about today, and what we would like to do tomorrow. Gee, that's pretty much the three dreams, which we're going to experience in this rest phase or this death phase, this sleep phase, this unconscious phase, all mean the same thing. Death is merely a transition to another state of thinking. Letting go. Atta. The Yoga Sutras start with Atta. Yes, it means now, but really what it means is up until now. All of that over there, all of that has happened, all of that past, no matter how rich and joyful or experience that was, this is. Now what are you going to do? Atta. Or let us become. Now the practice of yoga begins. Now the unfolding of you begins. Now we make a decision. Now let us become. Let us be our inner being. But this is simply the decision to, it's a long day. Let us rest. And whatever we need to do to help us rest is a part of that decision as a human. What do we need to let go of? What do we need to write down? Is there something that I'm trying to remember that my mind is going to occupy me during my sleep time, during my rest time? Maybe write that down. Write it down. With that, I encourage you to journal. And Atta, Pele, Always awesome seeing you. Ni tora ashuna ukuhutara aranahitara titara. So I encourage you to journal about whatever. About this experience, about what came up for you, how you like the chants. You can comment about my hair. It doesn't matter what you write about. When we start writing, whether it's pen and paper, whether it's writing ourselves an email, whether it's making ourselves a video note, it does not matter. But when we do it, once we start and the flow starts, that is now the real us that's doing the talking, our inner being. If we think we're separate from this inner being, it's allowing our inner being to talk and allowing our inner being to reveal to our conscious mind who we really are and how it really sees things. It'll reveal to us what we're ready to see. With that, I thank you, my friends, for sharing in my highest bliss. Nihukochara arhana ita sota aha isha aya akahana atatita hartaha. And shine on, my friends. Nioruta aya hakatatatirata. From your inner being, with your inner being, as your inner being. Niorota aya haka asana ita. And make it a great day. Hishaya kahanata karyatata. Because why would you leave it up to anyone else? Nihuka arahatana isa hata arta.